I'm waving through a window that I've seen 10 times before. Where's the show that offers more? 2, 3, 4. Give me a little new music. How about a little new music? Too much time with the news has got me feeling news sick. Let's try a little new music.
This is the first time I'm premiering Mansplaining, my song from Glass Ceilings. A Little New Music is such a wonderful place to premiere a new musical theater.
I think it's great to introduce, my stuff to a new audience and also be part of a community that both values new musical theater and also supports it.
I had a song and a concert, and it felt like a really safe audience that really was in tune with what I was trying to say.
I came from the Bronx to come sing here. I'm singing Dance Floor. It's a new song from the Broadway show Talk to Me.
The song I get to perform tonight is called The Only Straight Boy in the Room, which really spoke to me.
I am singing a new song, Karner and Gregor's song called Fractured Fairy Tale. It's really exciting because we get to put our spin on it, and you're really a part of that process too, of bringing a show to reality.
Best talent in town, the best writers around the globe. It's not a casual cabaret, it's a highly produced concert.
This is my first time seeing A Little New Music. It gives you a little taste of what's new and what's to come, and it just makes me excited because I want to see every single show now.
I really think people need to come and experience hearing songs that have not been performed before. There's something incredible about hearing it for the first time.
Ballads, up-tempos, jazzy tunes, old school Broadway type of songs. Sometimes like the next Sondheim shows up, and you get to be a part of that.
Let's try a little new music. Come on, guys. Let's try a little new music. A little new music, that's the name of the show.
All right. Welcome, everybody. Happy New Year. This is A Little New Music, and I am Khiyon. I'm one of the volunteer producers here. I would like to welcome you to our Spotlight series, where we highlight one of our favorite writers one at a time. That is my co-host, Luke Klipp, who doesn't know that he's muted right now. Maybe he can possibly get a clue.
Hey, can you hear me now? Can you hear me now? Tis the season. 2021 starting off just as great as 2020 left us. Hi, everyone. My name is Luke. I am one of the co-founders and also a volunteer producer with A Little New Music. And it is awesome to have y'all here as we ring in the new year with our Spotlight series.
Yes. We're happy to have you here tonight. And we're not going to be shy. We're going to ask you for some support. And anytime you can scan the little QR code that you're going to see in just a second. Oh, there it is. It just helps us give a little bit of contributions to our performers and our writers.
We also want to thank two really great organizations, ASCAP, whose generous support makes our work possible, and New Musicals Incorporated, whose partnership sustains us.
Great. Oh, one more thing. We are going to be getting questions from the audience, hopefully. If you have any questions, feel free to write them in the chat, and then we can ask our writer tonight.
So type those questions in the chat. Y'all get your questions answered later on in the show. So let's just get on with the show then. We're very excited to have with us tonight Khiyon Hursey. Khiyon was a staff writer for Netflix's romantic musical drama Soundtrack.
He's currently co-writing Love in America, which is a movie musical to be produced by Issa Rae of Insecure fame at Universal.
Let's welcome Khiyon Hursey to the show.
Come on out, Khiyon.
Hi.
How's it going?
Hi, Khiyon. Welcome. Your musical Eastbound was selected for the 2020 National Alliance of Musical Theater Conference.
Yeah.
Khiyon, you've won the 2020 Stephen Schwartz Award, as well as residencies and scholarships with such renowned organizations as the Dramatists Guild, the Johnny Mercer Songwriters Project, and the ASCAP Musical Theater Workshop. We have so many questions for you tonight, but we'll just kick it off with a first question, and it's, what inspires you to write music?
Yeah, thank you for all of that. I feel like what inspires me recently, I feel like a lot of my peers who are taking a stand against injustice, speaking out, standing up for themselves, I find all of that really inspiring to witness and see, specifically as it's unfolded the past year. I'm also inspired by marginalized communities and people coming out and telling those stories that we often don't hear, and Black people. So, yeah.
That's awesome. And we're very excited to get to see some of your material starting right now. Your song, Worth Risking Everything, appeared on our stage back in December of 2018, which was just 2 years ago. We're going to watch it now, and then we would love to chat with you about it. I did want to offer a word of caution to our audience. This performance revolves around sensitive racial subject matter, and if this is difficult for you, please step away for the next 4 minutes, and we'll be back. So here's Worth Risking Everything.
Black lives matter. Black lives matter. Black lives matter. Black lives matter. No, they don't. 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 I didn't dream last night. That Monday came last night, and he told me to keep the dream alive. But how do I keep the dream alive when I want to run away and hide? All I want to do is survive. All I want to do is to strive. I avoid all the protests. I avoid the political. I don't want to be arrested. I don't want to be a criminal. Whether you go to a protest, you could get yourself arrested, and then you'll be labeled a criminal, and then you'll be marked for the record. I don't want to be arrested. You don't want to be arrested. You don't want to be arrested. He don't. It's going to a protest worth being arrested. Yes. It's going to a protest worth being arrested. Yes. It's going to a protest worth being arrested. Yes. It's going to a protest worth being arrested. Go to a protest. Go to a protest. I see the posts on Facebook. I see them everywhere. He sees them everywhere. I take a few seconds to read and I click share. Does it get us anywhere? Yes. Does it get us anywhere? Yes. Does it get us anywhere? Yes. Does it get us? Yes. Does it get us? My friends don't seem to care about the movement, but my television tells me I'm complacent. So I weigh the pros and cons of my inaction, and I ask myself, what the fuck is action? What's the price of freedom? What's the cost of freedom? What does freedom really mean? And is it worth risking everything? No, they don't. No, they don't. Is freedom worth risking everything? No, they don't. No, they don't. No, they don't. And by everything, I mean career, reputation, opportunity. What if in the middle of a protest? What if in the middle of a protest? What if in the middle of a protest? Hands up, don't shoot. What if in the middle? What if hands up, don't shoot? What if in the middle of a protest, I get beat by the cops, or I get hit by a car, or I get hosed by the cops? So I'm trying to figure out the balance, figure out the pros and cons of being out here, trying to figure out the mission, figure out the goals, and figure out the purpose, figure out the movement. What the fuck is the movement? What the fuck is my place in the movement? Where the fuck the Black Lives Matter come from? Did it pop up out of nowhere? Has it always been there? Have I always been there? Should it be scared? Do I deserve it? Do I deserve it? Do I deserve it? Do I deserve it to be scared? Because back in the day, people were not scared. Back in the day, people were more aware. Because of them, I feel a moral obligation. But I can't move because I'm scared and live with fear. Hands up, don't shoot. Hands up, don't! See, that's what I'm afraid of. We're living in crazy times. But is it wrong to be afraid of that? When freedom is on the line. When freedom is on the yes. My friends don't seem to care about the movement, but my television tells me I'm the yes. So I weigh the pros and cons. What the fuck is action? It's hard for asking all these questions. It's hard for not just fucking trusting. It's hard for waiting for clarification. It's hard for not making a fucking difference. It's hard for asking the fuck is the difference. It's trying to learn what it does by mention it. Waiting to make a decision and participating will mean I'm the business will be it. What's the cost of freedom? What's the price of freedom? What does freedom really mean? And is it worth risking everything? No. 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 Thank you.
Incredible, incredible. I remember that song so clearly, Khiyon. I can't believe that was 2 years ago. It feels like it's so timely. And just tell us a little bit more about what brought you to write this song, when you wrote it, and how you see it in light of the protests that have taken place this past spring and summer.
Yeah, thank you. So I wrote this song back in 2017. And I feel like 2017 was a significant year in terms of protesting. That was the year of Charleston and when the woman got hit by that car. And I think I've been writing this show. That song comes from a show called Sean's Story that I've been writing for a while. It's a 2-part musical. And I remember this song kind of came from a chat I had with George C. Wolfe. And I think he was really trying to get to the bottom of what I was feeling about the rise of the Black Lives Matter movement. And I kind of was like, I'm afraid to go to protests. And then he was like, write about that. And I did. And what's interesting about this number is, I mean, one, it's unfortunately very relevant, but I think two, it's the conversation around protesting has evolved so much, considering like what happened in June in terms of like everyone was protesting. I think that fear became a lot more, at least on like a global consciousness, the fear kind of de-escalated. And then I want to say it went back up with Kyle Rittenhouse and et cetera, et cetera. So it's definitely interesting to revisit that specific piece in this context. I think in light of the protests that have happened, like I said, I think the conversation around protesting is different. Obviously, there's more conversation happening about Black Lives Matter, the new defund the police movement, et cetera. But I think it's definitely was overwhelming to see the movement happen back in June in terms of everyone's consciousness having a bit of a awakening. Specific people, I'll say. And it's interesting to see how this show and this song, kind of evolves and how it's going to continue to evolve as we as Americans evolve.
That's really awesome, Khiyon. And, one of the things that we sort of have ourselves discussed a lot among the team that puts together A Little New Music for many years now is sort of what is musical theater? Like, what is the genre musical theater? And curious to hear a little bit from you about how you came to musical theater and this particular medium for writing and personal expression.
Yeah, so great question. So I came to musical theater pretty late. I was 17. I was a freshman in college, and I discovered the TV show Smash, which was on NBC. And one of the lead characters in that show, obviously, is a musical theater writer, or both of them are. And I was kind of like, whoa, musicals, there are people who write them. I had no idea that was like a thing or a career that you could do. And then I went to Berklee College of Music, started studying musical theater writing formally. And then from there, I kind of just like spun into studying musicals. So I got to work on a lot of amazing shows like Dear Evan Hansen and Hamilton, as just a fly on the wall, also like on the music teams, and just to see how, you know, new writers are crafting stories that are relevant to today's audiences.
Love it.
Yeah.
Excellent. Thank you for sharing that insight. It's again, it's just incredible to have you here. And you know, this is obviously an ongoing conversation. But for our audience, it wouldn't be a little new music if we didn't bring you a little new music. We understand that you have some brand new music to share with our audience. Con, can you set up this new song for us? Tell us a little bit about it.
Yeah. I think that this next song, in thinking about just existing as a Black person on an everyday basis, I think we're entering this next musical moment in terms of like just a snapshot of like the significance that police brutality has on Black people, and those like, and in this moment, you know, we're kind of seeing our character Justin react to an instance of police brutality that happened, and he's trying to, you know, sift through those feelings of like, you know, that could be him, that is a victim of those instances. So it's a little dark, but it's, you know, honest, and it's a very common feeling, I feel.
It's from the same show, correct?
Yeah, the same show.
Great. Well, thank you for that setup. Let's hear it.
Cool.
It could be us on the cold ground. It could be us with the same sound. It could be you or me. It could be you or me. That could be us in the spotlight. It could be us and it ain't bright. That could be you or me. That could be you or me. I sit in lonely places and I think about the value of my life. Is it pennies or a quarter or a diamond? Worth nothing at all. It could be us and they won't care. It could be us, I'll never play fair. It could be you or me. That could be you or me. You get to hear that nigga on the phone talking about I just shot a man, I was being followed, he attacked me, I had to protect myself, I had to call out for help, I had to, man, that nigga wildin' for real. But the media disagree, they villainize Davion Carter's name. It feels like nobody gives one fuck. The case gets worse by the hour, and I'm trying my best to keep my cool. But what if that was you or even me? I can't get that fucking sound out of my head. I don't wanna get out of my bed. It could be us on the cold ground. It could be us with the same sound. It could be you or me. That could be you or me. It could be us in the spotlight. It could be us and it ain't bright. That could be you or me. That could be you or me. I sit in lonely places and I think about the value of my life. Is it pennies or a quarter or a diamond? Worth nothing at all. It could be us. It could be us. It could be you. It could be me. It could be us. It could be us. It could be you. It could be me. Does anybody give a fuck?
No.
Does anyone actually care?
No.
How does everybody go about their day knowing someone died, knowing when someone said that it's all unfair? Do people turn off their feelings? Do people ignore? Do people not watch the news? People just want to see where this goes.
people don't want to point fingers because we don't know all the facts. Don't hurry and jump the gun. What? Don't hurry and jump the gun. I wanna be strong. I wanna pretend like I'm not affected. I'm trying to stay strong. I'm doing my best to stay calm and collected, but I'm not. I won't. I'm hurt. I'm angry. He's fearless. He doesn't hesitate. He's fearless. He doesn't hesitate. It could be you or me. It could be.
Incredible and haunting and timely. Thank you, Khiyon, for sharing that. In a minute, we're going to be asking the questions submitted by our live audience. So please ask your questions in the live chat. Khiyon, your background chorus, the people that you have kind of in call and response are so palpable for me. How do you find them in your writing?
Yeah, they're kind of the internal thoughts of the character. So, but externalized, and at least in that first performance, they're kind of externalized as like a Greek chorus ensemble sort of figure. And it's kind of just the good angel, bad angel in a lot of ways in terms of like the inner conflict that one has when thinking about all of these big questions.
Great.
Khiyon, before we get to questions from our audience, what's next for you in 2021?
Yeah. So, you know, I have a lot of stuff coming up, still working a lot in the TV and film space, still working on Love in America. As you mentioned earlier, I'm working on a dance play with the incredible John Rua from the original cast of Hamilton, who has written this incredible play, and I'm doing music for it. So I'm super, super excited about that. I'm also working on an animated movie musical. And yeah, those are the two things that I'm like currently most excited about, amongst several things.
Nice.
Yeah.
Nice.
We'll have to keep our eye on this one, Luke.
Oh, that's been clear for a while.
All right. Well, we have some questions here. We want to take some questions from our audience. And the first one is, this is from Eric Cornwall. The vocal textures in the first song were so interesting. Do you hear them in your head as you write, or what?
Yeah, that's a great question. So it's half and half, really. I think if it's someone singing a thing, usually, but I think the textural stuff, I think I'll have an idea and then I'll usually play around with it later in terms of like reversing it or like putting a weird thing on it to get a texture. That kind of is more of like, it's like emotional storytelling through music. It's kind of like setting the scene. So some of it is intentional. Some of it is just like, let's see what happens. And then I'll like stumble upon like me doing a weird thing. And then I'm like, oh, that's like kind of the thing, the texture I want. Great question.
We have other questions. Kevin Blue asks, love the rap stylings. Is Sean's story mostly rap or do you use other styles as well?
Cool. Hi, Kevin. That's a great question. I feel like most of the show is rap. If I had to say, like, give it a percentage, I'd say like 60%, 65, 70% of it is rap. And then the rest of it is like lightly sung.
Okay. Danielle Stagger asks, says, engaging with injustice can be very taxing as a Black artist. Are there collaborators or people in your community who bring you joy or keep you wanting to write?
Yeah. Thank you, Danielle. That's a great question. I think this show is like kind of beyond me now in terms of like, I had a moment, it was very much around Ahmaud or Arbery of like, I felt a thing happening and I was like, oh, I have to like keep going. I have to like finish this thing. And then June happened and then I was like, well, now I really have to finish it because I've been writing the thing for so long. But I don't know if like, obviously the show brings me joy, but I think it's like, yeah, it's incredibly taxing. But I think I have a duty to like myself to finish it. But I also think this piece does bring me a lot of joy because this piece, even though the two numbers that I just play deal with, you know, Black death and injustice, like the whole show is not about that. I think it's about really the totality of being Black. So there's a lot of joy, pain, trauma, light, euphoria in this piece. I think it's just a part of, you know, the Black experience of like, this is a thing that we feel. I definitely don't feel like it's the whole thing, but it's a significant theme of the piece for sure.
So a follow-up question I have actually to that for you is, I mean, because some of what you're describing, it sounds to me at least like it can be pretty emotionally draining.
Yeah.
So what do you do to sort of like recharge?
That's a great question. I just stop writing and then I'll usually eat a bunch of unhealthy food. That's what I've been doing recently. That's what I've been doing recently. I think I'll just stop and I'm just like, wow, I'm gonna like do a bunch of unhealthy things and consume unhealthy things.
Come on, Doritos.
But also, I think that's also like the pandemic, you know, and just being creative and writing during the pandemic, you know.
Do we have any other questions from the audience? I thought we had at least one. There we go. Jimmy Marino asks, out of all the parts of creating music, lyrics, composition, orchestration, etc., which one excites you the most and why?
Yeah, that's a great, hi, Jimmy. That's a great question. Wow, I would say like for this show, I think the lyrics, I find that I think as I've gone further in the development of this piece, I think all of the lyrics have gotten like so much sharper, and I think I'm like kind of playing around with style and form, and what sort of lyrics can exist in musicals and how lyric really can accelerate story and how it can like really prolong story and how it can slow story. So I think and also like a lot of this show it's not like sung through per se, but I think, you know, a lot of it, the book in the show is very sudden at times. And a lot of that is done through like just a lyric repeating for emphasis So I think lyrics for this one is the most interesting.
Amazing. Great questions. I think that's it for our audience questions. But Khiyon, while we still have you.
Wait. There's one more question on the screen here, Keela.
Top 3 snack foods. Okay, that I love this question. Very unhealthy. Starburst, Skittles. I love the kettle chips, the jalapeno ones. So those are like the 3.
Awesome.
Wow. I had some of those kettle chips today, actually.
They're so good.
Oh, man. I did with a salad, though. So, so check it out, Khiyon. We have questions that we ask all of our Spotlight Series guests. And are you ready for your close-up?
Yeah.
All right. Khiyon, what was the very first musical you saw?
Newsies. Newsies on Broadway.
Excellent.
Wow. Who would you drop everything to go see perform live? And since we are in the middle of the pandemic, whether they're dead or alive.
Beyonce.
Come on, Homecoming. Okay, great.
Yes.
Khiyon, who's going to play you in the musical version of your life?
I love this question. Since I'm dreaming, I would say like Frank Ocean.
Amazing. Anybody we know his people? Let's get on that.
We have one more audience question from Eric B. Anthony. Hi, Eric. Khiyon, so proud of you. Love seeing you share and shine. If there's one place in the world you could travel this year to be inspired by the culture for your art, where would you go?
I love that. Thank you, Eric. Hi, Eric, too. That's a really good question. I feel like, I've never been out of the country. And I've really been eyeing London. And I'm just curious, like, I'm just curious, like, what is it like to like be Black but not an American? Because I think that is like such a specific experience. So I'm so curious to, experience Black people in another culture outside of America.
Just a heads up, they speak really weird English over in London.
Interesting.
They say that like their sentences are twice as long as ours because they use 3 times as many words to say the same thing. Maybe some inspiration for your lyrics.
I do hear they have some type of like tiny theater scene in London. Maybe you might want to check that out.
Whatever. Khiyon, it has been an absolute pleasure having you here with us tonight. Thank you so much.
Yeah, thank you for having me. It's been such a great time.
Been amazing. So all of you at home, you can watch Khion's songs and many of other songs that have been performed at A Little New Music on our YouTube page. Just go to youtube.com/a-little-new-music.
And while you're doing that, please also consider supporting A Little New Music using that QR code right next to Keela over there. Every dollar makes a difference and helps us compensate our performers and writers, including Khiyon.
Thank you so much. We want to give a shout out to our team working behind the scenes tonight. Here is A Little New Music co-executive producer, Amy Francis Schott. Coming out.
Hey, y'all. And I wanted to thank Ryan Baldwin for being our StreamYard guru, and Travis Leland, who has been in the chat with y'all, answering questions, procuring questions, et cetera, et cetera. And I also wanted to let you know that in 2 weeks, we will be back here, and we will be featuring David Malamud, who is somebody that A Little New Music had a long relationship with. He actually had a song in our very third show, the first year of A Little New Music, and then one just last year. So that'll be exciting to look back on those and see what he's got going currently.
Thank you so much, Amy. Thank you, Travis and Ryan. And we also want to give a special shout out to Peter Welkin and Chris Makish for their ongoing and steadfast support.
We also want to thank again the ASCAP Foundation for their support and New Musicals Incorporated for their partnership.
Thank you, Khiyon, for joining us tonight.
Thank you so much.
We want to wish everyone a happy new year as well.
Please subscribe to our YouTube channel, follow us on Facebook, and have a good night, everybody.
Everybody.
Good night.